Very good evening to all our viewers. You're tuned into WION World is One News. I'm Chaiti Narula and welcome to WION Wallet. As always, let's take a look at the business news from around the world that's making its headway at this hour on WION. The government is likely to raise the cash weekly withdrawal limit to 35,000 rupees from the 24,000 rupees, which is the current limit. Samsung Note 7 Pro blames batteries for fire incidents that led to one of the worst performance for Samsung in the history. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley looks to break the deadlock over distribution of power between centre and state governments to administer the goods and services tax rollout. Indian markets saw a fairly good trading session on Monday, which is today, as the Sensex and the Nifty ended at over two-month closing highs, and the Indian markets also outperformed the Asian indices in trade today. A Samsung Electronics Company Limited investigation into what caused some Galaxy Note 7 smartphones to catch fire has concluded that the battery was the main reason of the fire. Now, Samsung is seeking to put behind the Galaxy Note 7 explosions one of the biggest product safety failures in tech history as it prepares to launch the Galaxy S8, one of the flagship phones, sometime for the first half of this year. Investors and analysts alike say that it is critical for Samsung to provide a convincing and detailed explanation about what really went wrong with the Galaxy Note 7 and how it will prevent such problems from recurring in the future if it is to regain consumer trust all over again. The results of the investigation into the Samsung Galaxy Note 7 explosions will likely be announced on Jan 23rd, a day before it announces detailed fourth quarter earning results. And the global economy will face disastrous consequences if the U.S. protectionistic measures proposed by the incoming President Donald Trump prompt trade war, the head of Singapore's central bank has said. The leading Bank of Singapore warned yesterday that some of the possible actions, such as rejecting a U.S.-Pacific trade deal, extra taxes on U.S. importers, and labeling major trade partners as currency manipulators, may attract retaliatory measures. Export-reliant Singapore is among the biggest losers from a slump in trade, with the economy probably recording its worst performance last year since the 2009 global financial crisis. And the officials have vowed to push ahead with the Trans-Pacific Partnership, a free trade pact signed between 12 countries, including the US, Japan, and also Singapore. US President-elect Donald Trump has pledged on the campaign trail to withdraw from the deal when he takes office, and that is going to happen this week. Singapore is expected to continue a modest pace of expansion, with authorities forecasting growth of 1% to 3% for this year. And Hong Kong-based billionaire Li Ka-shing has agreed to buy Duet Group in a $5.5 billion deal, sweetening an earlier offer as he seeks to expand his infrastructure assets in Australia to diversify away from Europe. In the revised bid endorsed by Duet, investors will receive $3.03 for each share in the energy company, including a newly announced special dividend of 3 cents a share. Duet would give Asia's third richest man access to an energy network covering an area 3 times the size of Hong Kong, as the tycoon faces uncertainties in Europe, which happens to be his biggest market, with a string of elections this year. The deal, which would be Li's biggest in Australia if it gets completed, will need to be cleared by the government, which in August blocked Li from buying a majority stake in Ausgrid, citing national security concerns. India's wholesale price inflation accelerated to 3.39% in December as compared to 3.15% for November 2016. The food inflation contracted by 2.2% due to moderating vegetable prices. Inflation for fuel items was 0.7% and manufactured goods was at 0.1%, picked up on the back of hardening prices of commodities. The industry department also revised upward the October wholesale price inflation number to 3.79% as compared to the provisional figure of 3.39% released earlier. Data released by the Statistics Department on Friday showed retail inflation decelerated at a two-year low at 3.41% in December against the 3.63% that we saw the previous month as the vegetable prices continued to contract. The Reserve Bank of India, or the RBI, which is the Central Bank of India, is scheduled to hold the next meeting on the Monetary Policy Committee on 8th February this year. The Reserve Bank of India is likely to review cash withdrawal limits this week, under which the current account limit of 50,000 rupees per week and 24,000 rupees from savings account might be increased. The savings account limit is expected to be increased from 24,000 rupees to almost 35,000 rupees, which is almost 11,000 rupees higher. The ATM withdrawal limit was also increased from 2,500 to 2,400. Or rather 4,500, I stand to be corrected. Now, our chief business correspondent, Sumit Chaturvedi, joins us for more on this. Sumit, good evening and thank you for joining us on WION Wallet. By when can this weekly withdrawal limit be hiked, really? When is this actually going to be coming into action?
Well, Chathi, this is an exclusive piece of information that this limit will be hiked by the end of current month. Well, currently the weekly limit is 24,000 per week, which people can withdraw from banks or ATMs. But going forward, this might be doubled or might be increased to 35,000 rupees at least. The reason are many behind this. But first of all, when last month at the end of the month, PM had announced increase in limit, he had not announced increase in weekly limit. He had announced increase in daily limit from 2,500 to 4,500 rupees per day. So now he's going to announce this increase in limit of weekly withdrawal, which is really essential for the people nowadays.
Sumit, one thing is that the government comes up with these kind of hikes, but the other thing and the ground reality is that the banks really do not have the money. Do the banks now have the money? Do you think if this hike is made, are they making this decision on the bank of the notes being available to the common man?
Well, exactly that's Chathi. In the last few days, the situation has improved tremendously. Now, banks have been getting new currency notes since long time, and now they have very good amount of new currency notes. So based on that, the government will take a call that very soon this weekly withdrawal limit will be hiked from 24,000 per week to 50,000 or maybe 40,000 per week. So this is required because at this moment, cash crunch is still there in some parts of the market. People are still in queues, not as much as they were earlier, but yes, there are still queues. So once the weekly withdrawal limit is hiked, this will be very convenient for people, especially for those who are waiting for big spendings also, because this will also bring a lot of spending into the market, a lot of purchasing power into the hand of people. The economy will also gain substantially. That is why this decision will be taken in the next fortnight. We expect this decision to be taken before budget, because in budget we await big decisions of other kind. So by the end of this current month, we can easily withdraw more than 24,000 per week from the banks or ATMs.
And what is really the reason behind this particular hike now?
Well, the main reason is that now banks are having a very good run with the cash. Now they are receiving new currency note in good proportion. Earlier there was some kind of problem there. They were not getting good proportion of the new currency note. Now they are getting good proportion of the new currency note. They are we can say that they have already got a lot of cash, so it's better that they should try distributing it to people to who this cash rightly belongs. So that's the reason behind this, and very soon banks or RBI in fact will announce this move, which can be announced by the end of current month.
When is the next monetary policy likely to be scheduled? Sumit, do you have any sense of that right now?
Well, absolutely, Jyoti. It's on 8th of February that RBI will once again take this call, but this time it's going to be very different from earlier times, because budget would have taken some calls already. Remember, the budget is on Feb 1, so a week before this monetary policy. Depending on the budget, a lot of this will be a lot of call will be taken. Remember also on Feb, when the CPI inflation number came, the inflation has deaccelerated, which is giving a good elbow room to RBI to go for rate cuts. But again, whatever we saw last time, there were high hope of rate cuts, but they did not happen. This time I am sure that nobody is going to put any hopes on rate cut or not. But yes, the call will be taken on Feb 8.
All right, thank you so much, Sumit, for that update. And now moving on, Union Finance Minister of India, Arun Jaitley, is holding a crucial the Finance Minister of India, Arun Jaitley, is holding a crucial GST meeting today to find a solution over the deadlock over the issue. The deadlock over power sharing between centre and state continued since last 4 meetings. Jaitley has also said that he does not want 2 separate agencies for auditing and scrutinizing every single taxpayer. Jaitley is yet to break the interstate GST that is crucial in terms to decide who will have an upper hand while selling goods between the 2 states as well. US President-elect Donald Trump has praised Britain for being smart for opting out of the European Union. In an interview with Tory MP Michael Gove, Trump said that European Union, which he believes is dominated by Germany, is on the verge of a collapse. He has also promised to draw up a trade deal with UK quickly after Brexit, and said that he could understand why the voters chose to leave in the last year's referendum. Trump stressed his fondness for the UK and said that the other countries could follow its lead and leave the European Union.
Do you still think so about her? Do you trust
I think Brexit's going to end up being a great thing. But I predicted the heat I took was unbelievable. And I said, because people don't want to have other people coming in and destroying their country. And you know, in this country, we're going to go very strong borders. From the day I get in, one of the first orders I'm going to sign, day 1.
Let's take a short break on that note on WION Wallet. On the other side, a check on the global markets and, of course, a little more in detail about the BSE IPO that has come out with its price band as well. Stay with us. Thank you so much for staying with us on WION, World is One News, and welcome back to WION Wallet. Let's start off with the Indian markets now. The Indian markets saw a good trading session today. The Sensex and the Nifty both ended over 2-month closing highs as the Indian market outperformed the Asian indices in trade. The Sensex was up 0.18% and closed at the 27,288 levels, and the Nifty was up 0.15% and crossed the 8,400 mark in today's trading session. The rupee closed at 68.13 to the dollar and 82.08 to the pound. As far as the American markets are concerned, the Dow ended down 0.13% in the last trading session. Nasdaq closed up 0.5% in trade, and as far as the last trading session of the US was concerned, the S&P was up 0.18%. The European markets opened weak today as investors are now awaiting more details on the Brexit plan and the US President's inauguration later this week again. In fact, as we speak, let's take a quick check of how Europe is trading in trade today. Let's start off with France. You see the CAC down almost 0.5% in trade, 0.64% to be precise is the kind of downtick that we're witnessing on the CAC front. As far as the DAX is concerned, which is the German index, we are seeing the DAX trade and post marginal losses of 0.69% in today's trading session. The FTSE, which is the UK index, is down 0.06% in trade. Good time now for us to bring our markets expert Amit Gupta to talk and give us a detailed roundup of the markets as far as India is concerned. Now, we had the Nifty and the Sensex end at a 2-month closing high. What's your sense of how the markets panned out today and the week going forward? What's your sense on that, Amit?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for that. So as we can see, the BSE and the NSE are clearly in a bull run right now. We have seen the Asian markets closing almost 1% down, which the Hang Seng versus the Chinese market and the Japanese market all ending in the red. Even though the Indian markets have ended into the positive, which is clearly showing the amount of interest that Indian markets are drawing in the international markets. Good thing to know is that this is not just driven by the FII's inflows, but also the domestic investors are showing good interest in the Indian market, and we can see almost close to zero selling by the DIIs as well as the FIIs. This can be primarily driven by the earnings session. We know that the LIC and the DHFL have both reported very good earnings today, but the LIC reporting 19% profits up quarter on quarter, up to 499 crores, versus the DHFL also reporting, beating the market's expectation in its, and reporting a 32% gain in its quarter on quarter earning. So these were some of the sectors. The banking sectors will be announcing its results today, such as the Axis Bank will be announcing its result, the Yes Bank, Canara Bank, they are expected to announce their results later in the week. So during the week, we can see some movements and focus on the banking stocks, as well as real estate. Now, SEBI announced on on Saturday that they are going to allow mutual funds to start investing in REITs, which has given a boost to the real estate sector. This, coupled by the good announcements on the results, the LIC and DHFL were the stocks to watch out for in the trading session earlier in the day. Also,
go on. Go on. Sorry about that.
Okay. Also, the economic data that has come out later in last week's session, it has beaten the market estimates on the back of demonetization, where markets were expecting low data and some slowdown in the economy. But the industrial production data, as well as the CPI, has all beaten the market expectations, which is showing that the impact of demonetization is not really as negative as it would have been expected. So in the coming week, I'm very bullish on the market, not just in the coming week, but until the end of the budget season and probably until the end of the financial year. Any dips in the market that we see on the back of maybe technical support or the 100-day moving average resistance levels would just represent another buying opportunity.
Very interesting to see that kind of pre-budget rally that is setting in now. Amit, stay with us on that note. We'll come back to you for the markets really. Just small news flowing in right now. The RBI has just come out with a notification, and for the benefit of viewers, it's important for us to flag this off. The RBI notification reads that the withdrawal limit, which is the daily withdrawal limit from banks, has been raised from 4,500 rupees to 10,000 rupees a day. So in a fresh bout of news coming in right now that your withdrawal limit stands to be increased. Also, the current account limit has been raised to 1 lakh rupees a week, and that's all from the RBI notification that we're picking up, and we will keep tracking this more closely to bring you minute-by-minute updates on what kind of practical amendments the government is really making and the Reserve Bank of India is making on the back of the impediments which are being caused on ground on the back of the demonetization move. We're going to go back to Amit Gupta, who's a markets analyst, who's standing by. Amit, sorry about cutting you off earlier with that breaking news which was coming in. Amit, continuing with the market, you spoke about a pre-budget rally. Let's stay on with the Indian markets. The BSE has also come out with its IPO now, and 23rd of January is when the IPO is opening, and the issue is closing on 25th Jan. In fact, what we're picking up right now is that the issue size is close to about 1,200 to 1,300 crore Indian rupees, which is close to $183 million of fundraising that the BSE is likely to do. And the price band fixed for this is between 805 to 806 rupees per share. What's your sense of how the BSE historically has done over the years, and when it goes on to list, do you think the BSE IPO would be a good buy or not? And give us a bit of a near-term, mid-term and long-term perspective on this.
Sure. So the BSE is one of the oldest stock exchanges in the world, as we know. It's almost 150 years old, and it has some very big names as its investors. Now, when it is coming out with its IPO, close to 30% of its shares are on offer to the public. Now, this price band of 805 to 806, I see it getting close to its upper price band, which is 806, which will mean that the BSE would be raising close to 1,300 crores, as you mentioned. I see it as a good buy. BSE is definitely one of the oldest stock exchanges, and it lists more than 5,000 companies, and it it is definitely going strong. Coupled with the NSE IPO, which is coming up in another 3 to 4 weeks' time. The exact date is yet to be locked in. But both of these IPOs I see is going to be a good buy for the investors.
Right. You said that the BSE would end up happening to be a big good buy, and your sense is that it would list at 806 levels. As far as the NSE is concerned, we don't have a clue about the price bands as of right now. But just from an investor standpoint, how do you view the NSE IPO as well? And just draw up a comparison between the BSE and the NSE one, which is coming up for listing anytime soon.
Yeah, sure. So BSE and NSE are both the top 2 stock exchanges of India, as we know. They are following the international markets. As we know, there are other stock exchanges like the SGX, the other stock exchanges which are listed. They are following the international market levels. And the investors are definitely viewing this as a good buying opportunity to be counted amongst the investors, the top grade investors, which are currently holding on to the BSE and the NSE shares. So that's the reason I see in the short term, maybe till the time there is proper price discovery in the markets, because India has never witnessed a stock exchange being listed on another stock exchange. Till the time there is proper price discovery, there could be a little bit ups and downs, but in the medium to long term, we can see this as a good buying.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Amit Gupta, for joining us right here live on WION Wallet with that markets check. We leave it at that just to give a sense to our viewers. That was Amit Gupta with a market sense on the comparison between the BSE and the NSE IPO. We will be tracking that on WION Wallet very closely for you. And we just have another news coming in that the finance minister will be briefing the media at 5:45 p.m. today in the all-crucial GST announcement is likely to come in at 5:45. We will dip into the finance minister live, so stay with us. WION Wallet continues on the other side of this break as well with a budget special which we will be running starting today all the way till the 1st of February. Stay with us, take a quick break. I'll see you on the other side.